Stomper, as the title says. What's your interpretation of a stomper? Some of you would be like, well, some entity that does that to a pesky insect. At one time, my definition of stomper was more peculiar than that, in a sense. Let me elaborate. I took this photo of a big old Ford diesel pickup truck suspended high off the ground with big wheels. I was maybe semi-fascinated, and I took a photo of that truck. Thought my stepdad Bruce might be interested, and I sent that to Bruce. I said, hey, I bet you'd be interested. And then Bruce responded and said, I didn't know I could, climb that high. And then guess what? A memory gets fueled. These trucks I would see around town back in the 1980s. And one of maybe the thought premises would be, saw on these TV commercials these big old monster trucks with loud resonating engines demolishing all these cars, totally flattening them out and demolishing them. I mean, demolition derby, so to speak. Huge tires suspended way high off the ground, and that resonating engine, as I just mentioned. And for some reason, I don't know if somebody else called these trucks that, or I can't recall if for whatever mystical reason. My mind is just associating, but I thought of them trucks as maybe a stomper. And here's another truck that's maybe a better thought premises of a stomper. Again, them big monster trucks, kind of remind me of a large version of what I used to see around town all the time here. Huge trucks with big tires, but not to, that extent, and maybe a kind of a miniature version. And I got to thinking, yeah, these trucks are what I call a stomper. They had big tires, these visible, spring-like, struts, inside, the wheel cavity. And at the time, I was highly interested in, a diverse group of trucks. And you talk about fascination, playing vividly. There's this one truck back in the 1980s I would see around town all the time. A big, I think, a black and white Chevrolet truck, It may have actually been, black and gray, something of that nature. Well, so huge tires, I mean, suspended very high off the ground, and trucks with tires like that, you could hear the tires roar, along the pavement of the road. And this truck, this approximately 1970s black and white highly suspended Chevrolet, had a loud, resonating engine with its tires, roar right up against the pavement. And I'm thinking, during recess at school, that truck would be seen around passing by. I mean, I would definitely see it, and I would see this truck parked at public places, like, the convenience store. And then I would basically, see this truck, cruising the streets. I'm telling you, I mean, this truck was a town regular. And it had, this sumptuous grill with, these straight, seams. It was totally enthralling, and I tell you, I was obsessed with this truck. That's the kind of memory that, the truck I photoed, the other day, I mean, triggered. But when I was riding, it may have been my sisters riding with us, but as a family, this truck would sometimes pass us. And I believe it was Mom that said something like, "Look at that truck." And my dad goes, "That looks so ridiculous." And on another occasion, it would pass by us again. And Dad said, "That's a dumb-looking truck." My dad may have been appalled, but hey, there was my fascination at the fullest. I was impressed.